wedges, clips, and really weird bricks. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little MOC, but builder MCLegoboy accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction. Element 33320. Thus, the Powerpuff Pod was built, using its supersonic thrusters, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. This crazy cat races to beat record times and frog racers of evil! Hey, what's up, you guys? It's MCLegoboy here with the Powerpuff Pod. Yeah, man. Hey, happy November. And, this is just something that I've had in mind for a while now. It was just in the works for a long time. I finally finished it like 6 months ago or something like that. And I've just been keeping it in the bin to keep like all the dust off of it, which is better than I can say for most of the other frog racers as of late. But yeah, I just, for whatever reason, I was struck to build something based around the Powerpuff Girls. And I decided to save it for November because November, and actually like November 18th, is when the first like official episodes of the original like run of the series first aired in 1998, which means that the Powerpuff Girls are like 21 years old if you don't include the What a Cartoon episodes, and then even before that, the Whoop Ass Stew pilot. I know, I just said that. It is a real thing. Definitely check it out. They've got the Professor Utonium. He looks just like an old version of Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. So yeah, but like technically, like the Powerpuff Girls, they're like 21 years old. It's crazy, right? Like, wow. And of course, that makes you think of like, oh geez, like how old am I? But yeah, it's just, for whatever reason, I was like, yeah, man, like let's make a Powerpuff Girls MOC, and I think it's because I had the blue and green big wedge things on it. I had these two parts, and I'm like, hey, that kind of like works out where if I use enough of these quadruple Erling bricks. I've also learned recently like why they're called Travis bricks. Apparently this guy named Travis used them a lot. I don't know.
Whatever.
But I kind of made like this one little thing, and I made another one. And I was like, well, that kind of corresponds to the colors of the Powerpuff Girls. Let's add some white in there. And then it's like, well, what do I do for Blossom? Because you've got Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. These parts don't exist in dark pink, and they only recently were released in like 2014 or something like that for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume... Oh, no, 2017 for Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I just bought them off of Bricklink. But it's like, it's a little bit different. I'm like, oh, I don't know. But, I mean, I tried to keep them as close to each other as I could. The cockpit, I mean, that's something to where like things had to be changed because it had to connect to the cables and house a cat. So, but each pod, obviously you got the different colors. Each of these little vents, these little like flaps, I guess is what you would call them. They've all got different colors on the inside of them. So Bubbles has yellow, Blossom has orange, and Buttercup has black because trans black doesn't exist in boat tiles, so, which is too bad. But I mean, that corresponds with the color of their hair. And I've also felt that like since this one was already larger, I'd give Blossom the classic bow. I mean, it's not Blossom if it doesn't have a bow. So these I can just chalk up as two like extra stabilizers. And then also like a big signature thing of the Powerpuff Girls is like when they're flying at supersonic speeds, like you get these little light trails that come out. And I mean, I had to incorporate them. And like, part of me was thinking, it was like, okay, this is one of the more, like, fantastical frog racers, even though technically it's not a frog racer. There's a cat. But, you know, like, this shouldn't be possible, you know? But then I remembered that there is this Kaminoan pod thing that General Grievous steals in the episode Arc Troopers of the Clone Wars. And it actually leaves a trail as it flies. And it was like, what? So now, like, this actually makes sense. So it's definitely not your grittier looking frog racer like the Ekis 89 JZ, where you got like all these crazy greebles and it probably like spews and smells like gas and stuff like that. Same deal goes for the Sea Spray 02. You know, look at all these like greebly bits in there. The most greebled this thing ever gets are the little grills in the front for the white. But, you know, there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to this thing. I mean, crazy build inside. That's something to make note of. But, I mean, because I kept them looking kind of the same, because, I mean, the Powerpuff Girls look the same. The thing that makes them different are the colors and their hair. And some of their powers, but, I mean, you can't really do that in a MOC. You know, it's just, it's the Powerpuff Pod, man. Like, you know, get excited. Yeah! I don't know. I mean, you know, like, I feel bad when I'm like, yeah, you know, it's like, this is kind of all you get to really see of this thing. I mean, it is what it is. It's like, but I mean, it truly is kind of what it is. You know, there's nothing I can do about it. Because, I mean, you know, if you're going to make something based off the Powerpuff Girls, like, you got to keep them all looking the same. So, I do like the 1x1 round with the hole in it to get that bow to work, though. So I think it worked out. Like, even though this is larger than the other two, it also kind of makes sense. I mean, Blossom's the leader. Well, actually, yeah, because the end of the show, they've got, like, that song that runs, and it's Blossom, Commander, and the leader. So, yeah. So it makes sense that, like, Blossom is the larger of the two pods. I mean, it's not by a lot, so. But, yeah, I mean, you know, this has been the Powerpuff Pod. So, up next is December. That's going to be the final pod in our Phantom Menace 20th Anniversary Celebratory Frogracer Series. And it does include a frog this time. So, you know, get hyped. Yeah! But other than that, this has been MCLegoboy with another Not a Frog Frogracer MOC, the Powerpuff Pod. See you guys. And so, the race is won thanks to the Powerpuff Pod!